Welcome, one and everyone, to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 352. Oh my goodness! This is welcome, one and everyone, to this week's episode of Scotch. Okay, it's streaming. It's working. I know that. All right, I should probably pop out my chat and then close the Twitch page so that I don't get bandwidth issues. Anyway, man, this show has really been going on a long time. This show has been going on longer than some companies have existed. Longer than WeGame existed, the company I used to work for. We've been going on for a very long time. I'm so excited to be here. Got a great show for you today. I have been frustrated today. Today has been a frustrating day. Things were great at work, and then I ended work around 6 o'clock and I figured, hey, I would launch Fallout 4, maybe shoot a quick video before the show, only to discover that Fallout 4 had downloaded a huge patch while I had been working during the day. And as a consequence of downloading this patch, none of my mods work. And if none of your mods work, the game save that you have saved that had those mods will not load. So we're talking hours of work on this one character of mine that are either completely wasted because the save game is corrupt, or I'm going to have to find a way to get it to work again by somehow re-enabling mod structure for my Fallout game. So that was a frustrating thing to discover today, but that's okay. I'm actually really excited about the show today because I've got a cigar, I've got some scotch. We're going to relax and have an enjoyable evening. Eternal887 says, Oxhorn, did you get the whiskey I sent? It should have arrived on Tuesday. Well, to be perfectly honest, I have not checked the post office or the office where I get my mail. It doesn't go directly to my home. It goes to a pickup location, and I haven't gone there. So, sorry, I haven't checked. I'm sure it is there, but I haven't checked. So sorry about that. The Bancy Fadger says, I hope you found a suitable cigar for tonight's program. I did, but it's not for tonight's program. It's going to be for next week's program. So the Fancy Badger gave me a wonderful donation, and he ordered me to buy a really nice cigar. And I did, but I had to buy it online, and it's not going to get here in time for tonight's show, obviously. So the way it works is Seattle is not a very warm and welcoming community when it comes to cigars. So there's not a lot of support for good cigar shops in the area, basically. There are only 2 or 3 fine cigar shops in the area, and they're all way up in Seattle, and I haven't had an opportunity to drive up there. So what I did instead is I ordered a cigar off of one of my favorite cigar shops, Famous Cigars, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be delicious. It's very unique. I think you guys will be surprised. Cigar Ox is asking, how big is it? I'm not letting anybody know what it looks like. You guys will have to show up next week to see the program where I will smoke Fancy Badger's cigar. Fancy Badger says, as long as you have a cigar in your hand, I am happy. I can't wait to hear how it smokes next week. Wow, what's with everybody for shouting and... Oh, am I being rated right now? All right. That's okay. I don't mind being rated. An egg Maduro, perhaps? Maybe it'll be an egg Maduro. Who knows? Haven't quite decided yet, but I am using this. This is the cigar I'm smoking today, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a top shelf cigar, but it's not a bottom shelf cigar. It is, in fact, a medium shelf cigar, and I do enjoy a good medium shelf cigar. So this is called the Julius Caesar, and it has a nice embossed wrapper, and that's one of the things that you can take a look at when trying to decide whether or not the cigar you're smoking is a quality one. Take a look at the wrapper. If it's flat and the paint kind of rubs off or it's not glued together very well, that's probably a hack job. But if the cigar wrapper is embossed and it's got gold leaf on it, then you can be rest assured that this is probably a good cigar. Ghoulbreath says, where do you hail from, Raid? That's a great question. We're being raided by Steven Real Life. Steve in real life and community, pleasure to have you on the Scotch and Smoke Rings program tonight. You caught me just as I started the program, so we have a bit of a show ritual here, which we go through before we get into the video games, and that is, of course, to light up a stogie and to pour a glass of the finest Scotch, and that's where you caught me today. So, let's fire up our ladder. Ulfer17 says, so are you a loot pinata now, Brandon? I'm having a hard time understanding what you mean by that. A loot pinata? Is that some sort of new millennial internet speak that I don't know about yet? We have some Glen Moraine on the program tonight. Get my Scotch glass. Oh! Looks like I have some evaporated Scotch in here, which is why it's got a golden color to it. Oh, get it? It's a raid. You're a raid boss. Oh, okay. I get it now. Right, I'm being raided on Twitch. Therefore, I must have loot. It took me a while. Thank you, Fancy Badger. Right, Ulfer17 says since you're being raided, you gotta drop some epics. I get it. I get it now, right? I'm so out of touch these days. There we go. Cheers, ladies and gents. It's been a long time since I've had a cigar. And a very fine one to boot. All right, ladies and gents, let us move on to your fan art. If I can find it. What? Did Facebook change their interface? I can't find... Oh, there it is. All right. Let's see if I can get this to work. So... No. Okay, let's try center screen. Nope, that's the wrong screen. But that's okay. I'll move this here. And I'll move this here. Haha! Look at that! Sorcery! Alright, here we go. Your fan art for the day. So first from Eric. He's just sharing a World of Warcraft animated GIF. Which I can't make it bigger, so... Alright, so... Oh, and it's all pretty much the same as last week. I should have checked it before I started showing it off. But the fan art is pretty much the same as last week. So thank you all, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, for your fan art. Let's get to our recorded messages. So for those new to the program, you are able to leave me a recorded message, and I will play it during the program. First up on the show is Andy the DK. You're on the program, good sir. What is on your mind?
Greetings, Oxhorn, in the Scotch and Smoke Rings chat. It is I, Andy the DK. My greetings to all of you. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week. Ox, it is time once again for the classy question of the week, and my question to you this week, good sir, is... when smoking a cigar, what are some do's and don'ts, some classy etiquette for smoking? Are there do's and don'ts in public when you smoke a cigar? And are there just a certain way to go about etiquette? I know I smoke quite a lot of cigars, and I may or may not be doing the right thing when I do smoke. But I'd just like to hear from you, good sir. Are there any tips that you can offer the good people? Thank you, Ox, and once again, I remind you all to be classy. Enjoy your evening.
Well, my friend, thank you so much for the message. Yeah, there's quite a bit of etiquette when it comes to smoking a good cigar. Cigar says never bite the foot off, and that's true. This is something that you do if you live in Kentucky, which I visit frequently. My wife is from Kentucky, so I'm not making fun of those of you from Kentucky, but if you live in Kentucky and you don't buy hand-rolled cigars, you kind of just bundle up the tobacco into a big, rod, and then you just bite the end off to open it up. That's not quite the correct way of smoking a cigar. Certainly not something you do with a fine cigar like this. Anyway, when smoking a cigar, there are a couple of things you don't want to do. For example, never look to cigarette smokers and emulate their behavior. So, cigarette smokers tend to congregate outside of pubs and restaurants in their own little tinted areas where they stand in the bitter cold and they shiver and they smoke a cigarette and then throw the butt away and then go back inside. This is, of course, a necessity of them becoming today's modern lepers, right? The modern lepers of the world today are cigarette smokers, whether that's just or unjust. But the thing that makes a cigar different is you don't do it out of compulsion because you have a need for it, right? Instead, it's an opportunistic thing. When you have an opportunity, when your schedule is such that your workload is free and your evening is winding down and you just so happen to have the opportunity to smoke a cigar, then you sit down and you crack open a cold beer or you open up a bottle of scotch and you gingerly select a cigar from your collection and you slowly cut it and slowly light it and you roll it around with your fingers so that you can feel the texture of the leaf and you can feel the warmth of the flame as it burns through the center of your stick. You smoke it slowly over the span of an hour and a half. It's something you do leisurely. It's not something you do out of compulsion. And that is the primary difference between the two. And that, I think, is really an important part of cigar etiquette. If you're smoking a cigar out in public and you're standing there and you're just, you're smoking the cigar to smoke the cigar, whether it's because you're making a statement or because you need to get a fix, that's not the way to go about it. But when you're with friends, when you're surrounded by other people, when you can converse about the cigar, and it becomes a prop in the show that you're doing live on Twitch, then I think that is the classy way to go about smoking a cigar. Cigar Ox says, never rush into it. Enjoy it. Take your time and savor the flavor. Indeed, good sir. Wise, sage advice. Chief Smash asks, Ox, are there specific hand positions that are proper or improper when holding a cigar? Yeah, so this is the proper way to hold a cigar. You can either use two fingers like this or one finger like this. This is like the pencil hold when you're holding a pencil. I guess this is the proper way right there, using two fingers like that. You never full fist it like that, and you never hold it like a cigarette like that. Now, sometimes you will see me hold it like this when I've got it burnt all the way down to the end and I'm trying to get that last bit out of there, and I really shouldn't be doing that, right? If I've got about an inch left, I should just let it go and not try to get the rest out of it. But sometimes I got to do a smoke ship, and this is the last of the cigar that I have left, and I got to get the last bit out to do the smoke ship or something. But usually you just hold it like that, or do the pencil hold. The pencil hold isn't perfectly correct, but it's the way I'm most comfortable with holding it, or like that. Never like this. Maybe in France. Cigar says rushing into it may cause tongue bite and may turn you green. Indeed. Tongue bite is the side effect of smoking too quickly. It's what happens when the chemicals, when you burn the tobacco too quickly, it boils. The liquids inside the tobacco boils, producing chemicals which chemically burn your tongue. And it's a very slight burn. It's not a first degree, third degree, second degree burn. It doesn't turn red, it doesn't flake off, but it very slightly chemically burns your tongue, and it's slightly uncomfortable. And that's called tongue bite. And you know that you're smoking too quickly if you start to feel that. And the solution, of course, is just to slow down, smoke a little bit more slowly, maybe wait 60 seconds between every puff. This isn't a race. This is not a marathon, ladies and gentlemen. You're having a leisurely time smoking a cigar. Morwick says, "Viddy well, little brother, viddy well." Very well to you, good sir. I'm getting reminiscences of A Clockwork Orange. Shall we go to the Korova Milk Bar and very well? Another one from Cigar Ox. He says, never talk too long, otherwise the cigar will go out. Yeah, this is my dilemma. I tend to sit here and go on a rant and talk, and then I go back to my cigar, and it's out. Chief Smash says, I tend to do the pencil hold, but with my middle finger under the cigar, supporting it. I didn't know if that was classy. You mean like this? Well, I'm not going to sit here and say it's unclassy. It's not conventional, right? The conventional way is to just grab it like this. You've got your thumb supporting it, and then the rest of your fingers are just holding it in place on top. If you do it like that, it's a little awkward, but do whatever you're most comfortable with. There's no real right and wrong way to go about it. If you're most comfortable supporting it with your middle finger, that's fine. If you're more comfortable kind of just doing it like this, that's fine too. It really doesn't matter. Great question. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Andy the DK. Next on the program is Bancy Fadger. What is on your mind, good sir?
Greetings, Ox, and good evening. My question for you tonight is simply what inspired you to first try out the gentlemanly cigar, and how did it become a hobby that you enjoy? I also want to remind you that the new Hearthstone expansion is released. I'm sure many of us fans look forward to unleashing our newly crafted decks on you, and I hope you find something amazing in your packs. As always, stay classy, my friend, and thank you.
Well, that means that I had better fire up Battle.net if I'm going to be doing any Hearthstone tonight. Wait, does Twitch still say I'm streaming on Skyrim? I think it does. Nope. Still says gaming talk shows. Ah, my Hearthstone is updating. Start this game update. Yes, please. Prioritize Hearthstone for me. Thank you. All right, I've got Hearthstone updating in the background. Hopefully by the time I get to doing the game, that it'll be ready. Anyway, so the Bancy Fadger asks, how did I get into cigars? And the answer to that is that I got into cigars because I first got into tobacco pipes. And I got into tobacco pipes when my grandma... Someone on Battle.net says, thank goodness you logged in. I almost forgot to watch the show. Vral Zhao Rip. Anyway, my grandmother gave me my grandfather's old tobacco pipe, for my 24th or 25th birthday. Something like that. And so I started collecting tobacco pipes at that time, and I started carving my own, and it was a lot of fun. But tobacco pipes are hard to smoke, in my opinion. I could never get down the proper way to pack a pipe. And, every now and then I would get it correctly and I'd have an enjoyable smoke. But there are a couple of things about tobacco pipes that are just unique to the way that they smoke. They tend to go out fairly frequently over the span of a smoke, and that's actually normal. Even if you pack a pipe properly, it will go out over time as you smoke it. Because it's hard to keep lit, you tend to smoke it more quickly, and that causes tongue bite. So I tend to get tongue bite far more often when I'm smoking tobacco pipes than when I'm smoking a cigar. I switched to cigars because cigars tend to be packaged correctly, right? They're pre-packed, in a sense, in just the right way to smoke slowly and evenly all the way down, which prevent tongue bite. So I rarely get tongue bite when smoking a cigar because of that. Oh, it's Big Stacks too. Oh, okay. That's who it was on Battle.net. Anyway, it shouldn't be too long, says the Fancy Badger. Okay, good. And Big Stacks made it. Great. Trevor Green says, I'm here, but I'm also supporting my other friends who are streaming, so I might not chat much. That's all right. Do what you got to do. Support your friends. 'Tis important. Big Stacks says, I saw you log in, and I said to myself, oh, I got to watch the show. It's Thursday. Indeed it is. It's time. $1.35 gigabytes remaining. All right. So for those of you following me on YouTube, you're going to notice that I've been publishing quite a few videos. That's right, I have been producing videos like a madman. What I tend to do is record them over the weekend and edit them over the weekend and then slowly release them throughout the week. It's a quick upload, you press publish. And what I'm doing is I'm doing efficiency settlement builds in Fallout 4. So for those who don't know, Fallout 4 allows you to actually create settlements where you can, create structures and organize your settlers and make an efficient settlement that's producing money and it's producing food and crops. And I've been getting into that recently. I neglected it for my entire Fallout 4 playthrough until I beat everything else. And I'm finally going back to it and I'm putting together these settlements and I'm recording videos of the finished product and uploading them to YouTube. And so if you're fascinated by that, you want to see what it looks like, or if you just want to see my fancy graphic card, go ahead and check those out. They're on my YouTube channel. The Bancy Badger says, your videos are great. ASMR. ASMR. Even if I'm not that familiar with Fallout. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Zalthron concurs and says, I enjoy watching your Fallout videos, even though I myself don't play Fallout. Well, thank you very much. Ophirus says, hey, Oxhorn, I'll be going to BlizzCon this year. Any tips for a Canadian visiting the States? Yes, the bacon we have in America is very different from your own. So bring your Canadian bacon with you. The maple syrup that we have is actually just flavored sugar water. So be sure to bring your own maple syrup with you. And you don't need to bring your axe or your lumberjack shirt because we've got this hipster culture growing here in America. So you'll be able to find that stuff everywhere. So you'll feel right at home. Oh, the Bancy Fadger clarifies and says, autonomous sensory meridian response. Basically, your voice is appealing to the ear. That's good to hear. I'm glad that my voice is soothing. Maybe I should do like an audiobook, right, where I read children's stories or something boring. Maybe I could do it. An airline mechanic technical manual, and I can read it in a soothing voice, and who knows, maybe it'll be the next Amazon bestseller. Ophira says, har har. Oh, all right. People in America are not quite as polite as people in Canada. So, if you say I'm sorry to someone, don't expect them to necessarily say, that's okay, or I'm sorry back. If you allow someone to go ahead of you in line, then the next person will also want to go ahead of you in line. So maybe you should just stand your ground. Don't let everyone at BlizzCon butt in front of you, even though I know that that's the Canadian thing to do. It's very polite. But you may just need to, stand your ground in the BlizzCon line this year. I'm just rattling off every Canadian stereotype I can think of, so... No, it's, in all honesty, it's pretty much the same. I've visited Canada a number of times, and the only thing we don't have here is a soft drink tax. Well, not really, but that's one thing. You'll be able to buy Coca-Cola without paying a tax on it. So there you go. That generic Pyro says, Thunk Leaves Home pretty much proved you'd be great at reading stories. I'd definitely listen to them. Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. That'd be a lot of fun. Big Sex 2 says, wonders if Oxhorn has followed up on the Nostralis discussion. I'm not going to be talking about it. I do know that Blizzard has officially released an announcement on that. They're discussing the possibility of creating their own vanilla servers. Of course, if that were something they had seriously considered before they took down Nostralis, they would have released it before they took down Nostralis. I made my thoughts clear on that a few weeks ago. Basically, I think it's a huge PR disaster for Blizzard, but it's also within their rights, and it may be a good business decision for them. I'm not sure. And now it's time for This Week in the Universe. This week in space. NASA detects light emanating from the source of last year's gravitational wave discovery. Whoa. So what does that mean? Like a star just appeared out of nowhere? They detected a huge gravitational wave, but they didn't see anything, of course, because the light hadn't had a chance to reach us. But interestingly enough, the gravity did. Does that mean that gravity is faster than... that the detection of gravity is faster than light? Well, that's interesting. This week in material sciences, Stanford researchers develop a new self-healing material for use creating artificial skin and muscle. Whoa. We are one step closer to actual factual synths, ladies and gentlemen. Cannot tell the difference between a synth and a human being. And now they've got synthetic self-healing material. Ooh. This week in international energy, India's energy minister declares that solar power is now cheaper than coal across the country. I mean, good for them, that's fine, but if I learned anything from both Mythbusters and Fallout 4, it's that sandstorms and hail and anything else that can break glass is quite detrimental when it comes to solar energy. Also, cloud storms. Well, storms, because all storms have clouds. So I guess just clouds. But hey, more power to them. This week in medicine, the World Health Organization announced that polio will be eradicated from the world by early 2017. 2017. Although I'm slightly confused. Haven't we eradicated polio already? I mean, I know that it's one of those diseases that we haven't had in quite some time, but are the anti-vaxxers bringing it back? Is that what this is? Oh no, I have a strong conflict with vaccination, so I'm just not going to vaccinate my child. Oh look, polio's back. Skyline 1478 says, what kind of hat is that? This is a derby, also known as a bowler hat. Greg Hartung says, I fiddled with all the settings, yet it only ran 60 FPS on the lowest settings. Zalthron says it runs at 50 FPS for me when all settings on max. You might need a 770 minimum or a 60 FPS on max settings. Yeah, well, with my 960, what is it I have, a 980? A 980 at GTX. So basically, for those watching on YouTube, they're having a conversation about video cards. And I recently upgraded my video card to an AMD. And I've done everything I can to increase my FPS and to reduce hitching in the game. And even with this new video card, I still get hitches and stutters from time to time. And while I can run at 60 FPS most of the time, when I start getting into crowded areas or when a storm approaches, my FPS does get to the 30-40 range. Especially when I'm recording. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just my computer or what. But Cigar Ox says, good news. I have the motel room to myself. Bad news. I can't smoke cigars here. Well, I'll tell you what I do. Here, let's take a look at my download. How's my download going? It's just about halfway done. So when I visit a hotel, I make sure to get a room on one of the top floors that has a balcony. Because almost all hotels in America and in Canada these days are non-smoking. But what I'll do is I'll go to the top floor, I'll get a balcony room, I'll order some room service with like a beer and a brownie covered in ice cream, and then I'll take everything out onto the porch. And then I'll close the sliding glass door. And I'll light up a cigar there. Because you're so far up, there's a lot of wind, and the wind will blow the smoke right out of the balcony. Because you've got the sliding glass door closed, none of the smoke seeps into the hotel. And you can sit there with your laptop enjoying an episode of Top Gear while smoking a cigar, enjoying a nice pint, and eating some ice cream. A nice way to wind down when you're traveling. I know that that's not possible at every hotel, though. I actually had that method suggested to me by a bellhop. Is that what they're called these days? Bellhops? Bellman? He was helping me with my bags. And I said, hey, I know this is a non-smoking hotel, but I'd love to smoke a cigar, and I see you've got this balcony. Do you mind? And he kind of looked at me, and he goes, to be honest, the people at the hotel here, they don't really care. If they don't smell any smoke, they're not going to give you a hard time. So just go out onto the balcony. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Then, of course, he wanted a $5. And I'm like, all right. Give you a $5. Lich Kings, or Lichings, says, Lichlings. He says, hello, sir. Would you mind kindly blowing some smoke rings for me? Sure thing. I have my window open, so there's a bit of a stiff breeze. So my smoke rings are imperfect. There you go. A few good ones. Cigar Ox says there's a no smoking ban in Illinois in all places except cigar shops. Count yourself lucky. In Seattle, there's this no smoking ban in all places, including cigar shops. That's right, you cannot walk into a cigar or pipe shop and smoke a cigar or tobacco pipe. It's so dumb. Wow. That breeze is wreaking havoc on my smoke rings. Zalthron says, Oxhorn, I forgot to tell you that the Bancy Fadger can no longer use Mal'Ganis. And Greg Hartung says, or Dr. Boom. Why? Have both of those cards been removed or something? Madman Max is back. Pleasure to have you back, Madman Max. Patch notes for Hearthstone. What did they change? Whispers of the Old Gods. Okay. Friendly challenge menu has been updated starting April 26th, 2 days ago. You can challenge friends to standard, wild, or tavern brawl games. What's a wild game? What's the difference between a standard and a wild game? The sorry emote has been replaced with the new wow emote. Wow. So you can't say sorry anymore? Sorry about that. So instead they just go, wow. So you destroy an enemy, and instead of saying, sorry about that, you go, wow. It's sarcastic. Added improved visual effects to certain classic cards. Cool. I don't see anything about Dr. Boom or anything else. Fancy Badger says, the wild game is the game you know of. Standard is new. Not all cards can be used in wild. Standard is only the past 2 years of cards. Oh, okay. Trevor Green says, hey Ox, when Overwatch Beta opens, would you play a game with me? I'd be delighted to. Yes, I don't have the Overwatch Beta, but I'd be delighted to. The Bancy Fadger says, all Naxxramas and Goblins versus Gnomes cards are wild only. Standard doesn't allow Naxxramas or Goblin versus Gnomes. Oh, so it's basically all of the vanilla cards, the cards that came... Oh, I see. So it's a way for them to allow you to challenge a friend, even though that friend might not have the same expansions that you have. Therefore, you don't have access to better cards. I see. $271 megabytes remaining, ladies and gentlemen, before we can play some Hearthstone. This week in technology. Nanowires are used to make eternal batteries that seem to never have a cycle limit. That seems to have no cycle limit. Batteries forever. Holy cow. So I'm foreseeing a world where 200 years can go by and a robot can still work without changing its battery. All right, all right. This week in transportation. An autonomous car drives 1930 kilometers, which is 1,200 miles, across China with almost no human intervention. I'll be impressed when that almost gets removed from the sentence. This week in technology, scientists create flexible wallpaper cameras that can stick to and wrap around nearly any surface. Well, okay, but so you've got this square, right? And you've got this pole. And you stick the square to the pole and you wrap it around, and it's a camera. Well, what are you now doing? Are you taking a 360-degree video? If you were to peel it back, would that suddenly become a 2D, one-directional video? I'm not really... I guess I don't understand the application of that. And the band peeled off perfectly without ruining the wrapper. A sign of a good cigar. This week in medicine. A new smart scalpel is able to differentiate between a tumor and healthy tissue in half a second. So, cool, but it only takes half a second to cut through the wrong cord, right? So let's say you're relying on this medical scalpel, and you've got it set to turn off, I guess to go dull, when it sees healthy tissue. And so you stab into the patient, and you start carving down, and it's detecting. Tumor, 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 healthy tissue, but I still cut into it very briefly, cutting your nervous system out. Sorry, you no longer can blink. Still, a marvelous achievement. Way to go, science. This week in computing, a quantum processor that can send quantum data to different locations is successfully trialed. Quantum computing is creepy. I mean, it's so cool, but it's creepy. Like, I mean, I understand it, but I don't get it. I mean, I do understand. So, I mean, the way quantum computing works is it used the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. And it's a mind game, right? The Schrodinger's cat thing says that if you've got a cat in a box, there's a 50% chance that there's a cat in a box. Now, in our minds, we know that there's either a cat in a box or there's not a cat in the box. If you open it up and there's no cat in the box, that doesn't mean that while it was closed, there quite possibly could have been a cat in the box. I mean, no. I mean, obviously, if there's no cat in the box, there's no cat in the box. But in quantum physics, they say that the reality of the situation is that there could have been a cat in the box, even if when you removed the box, no cat came out. In quantum computing, they put this to use by saying that quantum data can be transmitted, and it can either be a 0 or a 1 during the transmission. So that allows it to move more freely through a variety of different conduits that are designed only to accept 1s or 0s. But if you can be either a 1 or a 0, then you can pass through all of them, which allows you to, like, somehow transport through time and space. But then at the end, it solidifies into either a 1 or a 0. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but I don't understand. Science. Madman Max says Schrodinger's, not Schrolodinger's. Oh man, was I talking about Schrolodinger's cat? See, this is what happens when you read things and you never have them pronounced to you. You never hear how they're pronounced, and that memory doesn't stick with you. So then you forget how it's spelled, and you try to say it in your mind based on the letters that you vaguely remember in your mind, and so you come up with Schrolodingers, when apparently it's Schrodlingers. Okay. Alright, Hearthstone. Okay, I'll get to it. Hold on, let's see what the download is at. Oh, I can play! Alright, let's play some Hearthstone. Haha! Alright, so I don't have the old gods. Whoa! Whoa! These cards have changed. Knife Juggler. After you summon a minion... Okay, it now only has 2 attack. This one now costs 5 mana, and this one now costs 5 mana. Molten Giant costs 25 mana? Ho, 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 that's a big change. Has less health. Blade Fury costs more. And it destroys your weapon, alright. Alright. What else has changed? Battle Cry, Silence. Oh, it's a 3 now. Wow, it's a 3. That's a big change, ladies and gentlemen. What? What's going on here? Why is there a refresh button? What is this? It's Cthulhu! New way to play, standard. In standard, only the newest cards can be used. Okay. Year of the Kraken. The cards you can use in standard change each year. Whoa. Okay. There's a lot going on here. Wild. What is wild? All cards can be used in wild. Only basic, classic, and the last 2 years worth of cards can be used. It's a very... don't understand. It's weird. Okay. 5 Old Gods packs. Win 2 games in the standard format.
You've got some standard decks, but you can always create more in your collection.
There's a lot of pop-ups here, guys. Right. Alright, let's open up my packs. Ah! Welcome from the Old Gods. Reward, Cthulhu. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack. Harbinger of Doom. Alright. Okay. Lots of new cards. I'll figure them out when I get there.
Golden common.
Ooh, a golden common. Cool. Yeah, I am getting a lot of Warlock cards, aren't I? Psychotron, Taunt, and Divine Shield. What's the difference, though? Oh, it's got 3 attack and 4 health. Sweet. Alright, let's see what happens.
Thrall versus Valera.
Watch your back.
For Doomhammer.
Well now. Alright, Zalthron, my friend. Do your worst.
Get in there and fight, maggot! Job's done.
Zalthron says, good evening, Oxhorn. I hope you enjoy what you will find in this deck. Well, it's going to be a surprise to me. You've had a chance to make your deck based on the new Old Gods content, and I haven't, so I'm eager to see what you've got in store for me.
This is our town, scrub.
Yeah, beat it.
I wonder. Get in there and fight, maggot! Suffer my wrath!
In the face!
Job's done.
Man Mag says, do you not mean do your best, Oxhorn?
Cthulhu!
Whoa, what was that? What was that? What was that? What was that? Battle Cry. Deal 2 damage. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2 wherever it is. Disciple of Cthulhu. Cthulhu, Battlecry. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack. Randomly split among all enemies. Oh, that is evil. Ah, interesting. Okay. I can't wait to see that card. Discover a death rattle card. Okay.
So many options.
Ha! This guy's toast.
Ah, well played, well played. Infested Tauren? What is this, StarCraft? Taunt, Death Rattle. Summon a 2/2 slime.
You to master. Job's done.
My friends list. Okay.
Do you hear its call?
Ha! This guy's toast.
There we go. I have accepted all of my friends.
Well met.
At the end of your turn, give your Cthulhu 1/1. Ooh. Yes, I do see that. I get what Cthulhu is. I realize that Cthulhu is still in your deck, and it's accruing damage over time.
What to do? I wonder. Witness the power of Job done.
Are you my master?
Oh my goodness, it's a Cthulhu deck! Oh, this is crazy. Cthulhu is a dot. Damage over time.
Let's get moving.
The pleasure is mine.
I bet it is.
Are you my master?
Oh man, I hope I can kill you before you play that card. You're making me nervous, man. You're making me
Incredible.
nervous. You're making me nervous.
By the power of Hearthstone, I have the power!
Incredible.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Oh my gosh. What a funny thing for them to change.
Is an illusion.
I'm not having a good time right now. That's making me nervous.
Incredible. Incredible.
Yes, I bet. Incredible. Lol, 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 lol. Okay,
Freed from the curse.
The pleasure is mine.
Job's done.
The pleasure is mine.
no!
Begins.
Okay, so there he is.
Mistakes were made.
All right. Yeah, he barely touched me, right?
Incredible.
Ah, what? Ah, that didn't work?
Your nightmare begins.
Your magic shall not save you.
I will be your death.
What was that? Battlecry, deal 2 damage. Oh, man, I'm blind. I don't even read. Oh, my goodness. Where are my glasses? I need my glasses.
The shadows beckon.
Shadows, Schmadow. What? You've got another one? I'm nervous.
That's incredible.
Well played indeed. Good game, Zalthrion. Good game. Lead mech. Oh my goodness. Lead Magnet says, nice to finally catch you stream and used to watch your shots on YouTube a lot when I first discovered WoW near the end of Burning Crusade. Good times indeed. Okay, I just installed a brand new patch and they still haven't fixed this issue? Sorry about that, Greg. Not sure what went on there. Let's try this again. What? Let's try this again. All the tables are full?
Oh, it's good to see you again.
There we go. Let's try that. Okay, I get it. Alright, waiting on challenges. Waiting on challenges. Here I wait. Ghoul breath! I think this is gonna work. Drum roll.
Thrall versus Malfurion.
There you go, Murky.
Protect the one.
I accepted your friend request.
Doomhammer.
Goldbreath says, here I will showcase the new Druid Legendary. Alright, I hope so.
My greetings. Greetings, friend.
Another night on the prowl.
Another night on the prowl.
Did you bring some fish?
Interessant.
Tusk, tusk!
Well, that wasn't the most ideal move on my end, but one must do what.
Serves me.
Summon a 2/2 slime or gain an empty mana crystal. Oh, okay. Goodness, you're really racking up the mana crystals there.
Elements guide me.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
Ruleblader says, hey Oxhorn, I'm just listening in. I was wondering if Blizzard would launch any legacy servers. Would you play them? I sadly wouldn't. I've retired from World of Warcraft. I've put that game behind me. It was such a great fun back in the day. But I want to remember it the way it was and move on to other things.
cannot stop the Cavalier!
Job's done.
What? What? Wait. Oh, it did work. Okay. The Bancy Badger says then Fallout 4. Yeah, well, Fallout 4 is one of those new things that I'm experimenting with, right? 8 armor. Okay. Good choice.
Spectacular! Mists quench you! Nature will rise against the rage of the fireland.
What? Ah, no! Ah.
Minions, servants, soldiers of the cold dark, obey the call of Kel'Thuzad. Where shall I strike? Where shall I strike?
Wow, that's powerful. Well done.
Get in there and fight, maggot! Always little bit mercy.
Job done.
Let's try that. Whoa! Oh, well done!
You to master.
My shield for Argus!
Sever my wrath! The land serves me.
Alright, this is going to be my last game for the night, ladies and gentlemen. I need to go get some dinner and
Natural mistake.
play with the kiddos. Stay tuned for the smoke ship.
Roldor! For master! Spectacular!
The breach!
Well, That's incredible.
Well done, Goldbreath. Well done. Seems like the old gods are smiling upon me because I managed to actually win both of the matches that I had today. It's 8:10. It's going to be 8:20 by the time I end the program. So sadly, I only got a couple of games in. But next week, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this again. All right. Time for Smoke Ship. What is on your mind? Give me your ideas. I only have so much cigar left, and it is my last cigar, so we've got to make this count. Gilbreth says, and that was Fandral. Basically, he activates both effects on your Choose One cards. The entire deck was Choose Ones. Well, I did get to see it in action there, and it's a fairly strong card. Pretty impressive. I don't have it. I don't have Skype up here. Let me get Skype running. All right. All right, hold on. My Skype is taking a long time to start itself. Whoa, and it's freezing up on me. Come on. There we go. Ah! Why? Why the lag? Why? Okay. Alright, here's the smoke ship from Madman Max. And yes, feel free to send me your smoke ships on Skype if that's easier for you. Oh, alright, it's a book. Here we go, hold on. Oxhorn stood on the bow of a large 20-cannon ship, crafted from bacon and PlayStation 1s. Oxhorn looked into the vast Scotch Ocean, plotting another large vessel captained by Greg Hartung, the Explosive. As Oxhorn's mighty vessel approached the other ship from the port side, Greg opened fire with his bacon-eating bison cannons. Oxhorn's ship rocked and shook at the strikes from the large beasts, hitting the ship and ripping of large chunks of the ship. That was all one sentence. Oxhorn's mighty voice bellowed, "Fire the Scotch cannons and let loose the Fancy Badger." Within moments of his mighty cannon, the loud roar of the cannons to be quickly out of sounded by Scotch casks, breaking against the other ship as both ships were reloading their cannons. The Fancy Badger flew over them both with a biplane, dropping large golden common Hearthstone cards to break Greg's ship. Greg, knowing defeat was imminent, but he had sworn to sink Oxhorn's ship at any cost, he ran down below the deck of the ship, lighting all the barrels of gunpowder with a loud boom. The ship had exploded into large pieces, embedding themselves into Oxhorn's ship, but doing no more damage than pinning Bacon back onto the hull. Oxhorn laughed victoriously. Having known of his plan to explode himself, Oxhorn had planned for this, making sure that his ship had extra thick bacon that would withstand the explosions, and continued on his merry way to Cuba to get some definitely not Cuban cigars to smoke on his show, Rum and Fire Sticks. Thank you, Madman Max. Thank you, Madman Max. Nicely done. Next up from the Nancy Fadger, the entire viewership riding on a spaceship made out of giant, possibly Cuban cigars. On their way across the galaxy, they plunder a Legion homeworld and take with them near endless technology and riches. The fans all put some money together to fund Scotch and Smoke Rings, the motion picture. When the movie becomes a box office hit, Oxhorn is able to retire as a billionaire with a full team of machinimators to carry out his visions of film. Man, this is my fantasy right here. This allowed Oxhorn to spend his golden years years crafting up wooden tobacco pipes and making tutorial videos about Fallout 13. Oh, nicely done. All right, the next one comes from Zalthrion. Oh wait, no, that's not a smoke ship. All right, Ghoul Breath. Oxhorn and Company sailing through a sea of Scotch, filling their mugs every time the Scotch sprayed onto the decks. The sails flapped in the winds as the storm approached, and it looked like this was the end. But suddenly, from the far distance, Cloron Hastings' ship appeared on the horizon. The ships meet just as the storm reaches them, and Oxhorn and crew load on with the mighty sailing captain. As they sailed off to safety, they told stories of epic Hearthstone tales and legendary old gods. Nice. I can dig it. Thanks, Althra, and I will definitely check that out. Eternal87 says, Oxford, remember to check your P.O. box for the whiskey I sent. It is waiting. Thank you very much. I will definitely check it. Big Stacks 2 says, you could say Oxhorn and Warcraft had a falling out. Deal with it. Okay. All right, nicely done, everybody. Nicely done, everybody. I think today I will go with the Nancy Fancy Badger. It was Bancy Badgers or Nancy. And we will do his smoke ship today. Thank you, everybody, for your submissions. Pay close attention because the smoke ship will exist for only a brief moment before your eyes. Here we go. Didn't quite have the velocity that I wanted, but for the briefest of moments, you did see the diagram before you. We had an entire viewership of Scotch and Smoke Rings faithful, riding on a spaceship made out of some giant, possibly Cuban cigars. On their way across the galaxy, they plunder a Legion homeworld and take with them near endless technology and riches. The fans all put some money together to fund Scotch and Smoke Rings, the motion picture. When the movie becomes a box office hit, Oxhorn is able to retire as a billionaire and run for president. No, and with a full team of machinimators to carry out his visions for him. This allowed Oxhorn to spend his golden years crafting up wooden tobacco pipes, making tutorial videos about Fallout 13 on YouTube. I know, right? The Bancy Fatcher says, cough, cough, Oxhorn 2020. Yeah. No. Goldbreath says, the Nancy Fancy Bancy Fadger Fancy Badger? Quite possibly. The Nancy Fancy Nancy Badger. Alright, Zalthrin says, don't want to disturb you, but would you mind checking out that link I sent you on the stream? I want to see your reaction. Sure. Let's see. Problem is I didn't have my, Whoa! Whoa! Alright, here, I'll have to show you all. This is the screenshot that he sent me. And wow, check that out. So this is a battle between the Fancy Badger and Zalthrion. Look at all those Ragnaroses. Holy cannoli. With the Call of Cthulhu there, whatever that guy, his name is. Pretty spectacular right there. Nicely done there. Pretty devastating. All right, That's it for the program, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to this week's episode of Scotch and Smoke Rings, episode 352. Stay tuned next week, same Ox time, same Ox channel for episode 353. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, as we say always here on Scotch and Smoke Rings, be sure that each and every one of you stays himself or herself classy.